Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Aswini. So what is my partial solution? Let me repeat again. If I find some mistake, please do point it out so that I correct it. Thanks, Aswini, for pointing it out. So anyway, not covered. So essentially, let me repeat that we are looking at traveling salesman problem, which means starting from vertex 1, visit all other vertices, come back to vertex 1, and from each such possibility, look at what. So again, just to repeat, this is my vertex 1. From vertex 1, I can go to vertex 2, I can go to vertex 3, I can go to vertex 4, up to I can go to vertex n minus 1, and then from each of these vertices, visiting all other vertices, come back to 1. From vertex 3, visiting all other vertices, come back to 1. From vertex n, visit all other vertices, come back to n. And among all such tours, like this is my tour 1, this is my tour 2, this is my tour 3, this is my tour nth minus 1. Among all this nth minus 1 tour, which is the lowest, that is my optimal tour. So what is my basically, how do I build my what is called sub-problem? Because dynamic programming involves given problem, break into a smaller sub-problem, solve that sub-problem, and using that sub-problem, build a solution. So primarily, we look at how do we start. We start at vertex 1 and consider that starting from vertex 1, we are visited some vertices, or currently we are at vertex I. So starting from vertex 1, we have visited few vertices and currently are vertex I, and that means our job is from vertex I, how do we pick the next vertex, or how do we make our next destination and pick up and make the extend the tour. To do that, we need to know where are we currently, which is the vertex I, what are the vertices we have visited so far, and which vertex to visit next. So once I am vertex I, which is the next vertex to visit, and what are the vertices I have visited so far, because if I don't know, I may visit them again. Remember, traveling salesman is we need to visit each vertex only once. So again, dynamic problem, the programming problem is you look at, we assume that we starting from 1, we visited vertex I, and job is to find out how to make the tour from vertex I. To do that, we need to know which is the current vertex I, because I could be anyone among the n minus 1, which is the next vertex to visit, and which are the vertices we have visited, and that is what will basically build that. And once you define the recurrence relation, we'll be able to find a solution there. And that is what we'll basically look at. So let's use some notation, and using that will compute. So assume that we said we are at vertex I. We are at vertex I starting from 1. So let's say starting from 1, we are at vertex I, and that means the vertices in the path, these are my set S, what I have visited. Sorry. No. Starting from vertex I, these are I have visited, and I have remaining vertices, and I need to go to the remaining vertices and come back to it. So what I'm saying is my GIS denotes the length of vertex path starting from vertex I, and this is my remaining set, the remaining S minus I vertices, and come back to vertex 1. Please note, we're starting at vertex I, we are visiting remaining S minus 1 vertices, excluding I, because we are already at I, and these are the vertices we already visited. We don't want to visit these. S is the remaining vertices. If we are at I, so we are remaining with S minus I. So starting from I, Starting from I, we come back to vertex 1, and this indicates GIS. And we start building it up. So basically means if I start from vertex 1, if I is equal to 1, that means my remaining set of vertices would be S minus 1. And that is what, so my optimal path would be G1 comma set S minus 1, because started from 1, go through all vertices other than 1 and come back to 1, and that is what we will basically find out. And so our goal is to find G1 starting from 1, go through all other vertices other than 1 and come back to 1. So generic solution, we would say, starting from vertex I, we basically look at the solution. So that basically means from vertex 1, we can go to vertex 2, vertex 3, vertex 4, vertex 5. So these are the cost. So from vertex 1, we'll go to some vertex k, and from that vertex k, find the path remaining all the vertices other than 1 and k. Because 1 we started from, 1 is when we started from, k is the vertex that we visited. So this is the S cost from 1 to k. Now I'm left with all other vertices other than vertex 1 and vertex k. So I need to find my shortest path starting from k to vertices other than 1 and k. This indicates gk 1 minus k. So my recurrence relation, basically what you need to find out is g1v minus 1 is basically starting from 1, go to all other vertices 2 to n, that means some vertex k, and then find shortest path from vertex k up to remaining vertices other than v and k, and this is the recurrence relation we need to solve. Making a generic equation would basically give you, if I can find GIS, meaning starting from vertex I, we visit some vertex j, that the cost of Cij, and from that vertex j, look at all vertices other than I and j. And that is what we basically look at, and we build this solution. So this is the recurrence relation we will basically be using to build our solution of dynamic programming. Again, remember, we're starting at vertex I, but coming back to vertex 1. And this is the key part. And this means this set does not have vertex 1, because 1 we already start from. This set also does not have vertex j, because from I you already reach to j. And we elaborate this, understand it from an example below there. And that is what essentially, using this equation, we will solve this. And we need to, if we can solve for all k, find the minimum, we'll get the answer. So solve for all k. So we start with slowly pick up g. That means we need to solve for different set sizes. Now look at what is happening here. When I need to solve, in this set size is, the total vertices is n, this set size is n minus 1. This set size is n minus 2. So if I start from I, whatever this set size is, this set size becomes s minus 1. So we keep reducing the set sizes. So we start from set size of 0, which is empty set, then set size of 1, then set size of 2, and so on and so forth. So first solve this equation for set size of 0, then solve this equation for set size of 1, then set size of 2, and so on and so forth. Once we do that, we finally solve the problem for n minus 1, and we'll get the answer. And once we get s equal to n minus 1, we'll find all the values, and using dynamic programming, we'll find the solution. So we'll look at an example, and then slowly build up the case, and then see how does it really work out. That's what we need to minimize, basically this part. From vertex I, look at all possible vertices j, and from j, look at the shortest path to 1, and minimum of that basically gives me GIS. And we'll do understand that from basically by an example there. So look at this example. This example is of 4 nodes. You are given the adjacency matrix, like 1 to 2 cost is 10, 2 to 4 cost is 4, 2 to 2 to 4, cost is 10. This cost is 10. 2 to 1, 5. Remember this, my cost 1 to 2 is 10, 2 to 1 is 5. It need not be same cost. That you have to make sure, please understand that part. So what we need to do is start from, this is what we need to compute. To computing this, now when I start from vertex 1, my remaining vertices are 2, 3 and 4. So that means I need to find the value of G1 comma V minus 1, basically G1 comma 2, 3, 4. That means from 1 I go to 2, this cost would be C12, and then find from G2 comma remaining set is 3 comma 4. Or I go to 1 to 3, or I go to 1 to 4 and build upon it. Using this is what will basically explain in this case. So we know that G1 to 2 comma 3, from 1 we can go to 2, and then 2 we need to build a minimum path from within vertices 3 and 4, or from 1 we can go to 3 and then build a minimum path from 3. My remaining vertices are 2 comma 4, or from 1 I can go to 4, vertex 4, and then build a minimum path from 4 to remaining 2 vertices 2 and 3. And that is what basically, once you find a minimum, you will have to solve the problem. So look what we have done. We reduced the problem from size of 3 to size of 2, repeating same thing. We'll make it size of 1, size of 0, and then we'll find the solution. The approach would be starting bottom up. So start with set S is size equal to 0, then set size 1, and so on and so forth, and then we'll be able to build up our solution there. So let's look at from starting from set size 0. Now this is what we need to obtain, and we need to find all possible sets of size 0, size 1, size 2 and size 3. That basically means we do a power set. So power set, we know if a set has n elements, power set contain 2 raised to power n set. So power set of 2, 3, 4 is empty set 5, individual 2, 3 and 4, then 2 comma 3, 2 comma 4, 3 comma 4, and finally 2, 3, 4. So we basically get power set of, now look at our empty set. This is my empty set. These are set of size S is equal to 1. These 3 are set of size S is equal to 2. And this is set of size S is equal to 3. And this is set of size S is equal to 0. So we'll start solving up for first set of size 0, set of size 1, set of size 2, set of size 3, and then we'll proceed. Take an example. This example is from the book. Some steps are not given in details. I've worked out the all details so that you can basically follow. Now look, set of size 0 is basically empty set. And this so indicates, if you look at G15, meaning from 1 to go to empty set and then come back to 1. That means basically 1 to 1. So this cost is 0. Now from 2 go to empty set, from 2 go to empty set with no other vertices and come back to 1. So G2 comma 5 would basically be this as, because we are not going through any other vertices and then coming to 1. That means we're coming directly from 2 to 1, hence this cost is 5. Similarly, G3 comma 5, if you look at G3 comma 5, this is 3. From 3, go to empty set and come back to 1, meaning come straight from 3 to 1. So my G3 comma 1 would be 8. G3 comma 5, sorry, this S cost is 6. This is 6. And similarly, G4 comma 5 means from 4 come to 1. This is 8. So G4 comma 5 are not written there, but G4 comma 5 would be 8, which is fine. We can write it here, G C41, which is basically 8. We'll depend upon that and do that. Now we look at computing all these, look at all this set which is size 1. Now we need to compute for, remember, we need to compute GIS or G1 comma, we need to compute this. That means first we look at going to 2 and then finding, then going to 3. So look at G2 comma 3, meaning starting from vertex 2, we start from vertex 2, we go via only vertex 3. Sorry for that. We start from vertex 2, go via only via vertex 3, which is this, and then come back to 1. So that means this would be 2 to 3 cost is 9, C2 3, and then once we use 3, we're left with no other vertex, so it becomes 3 comma 5, which is 1. So 2 to 3 is 9, and G3 comma 5. Remember, once I've gone to this vertex, I need to look at remaining vertices other than 3 because I already chosen this. So from 2, I have only set to 3. So if I take 3, I'm remaining with only 5 sets, and G3 comma 5, and this gives me 9 plus 6. Similarly, if you look at G2 comma 4, because I have already taken 2, so from 2, either I can go to 3 or I can go to 4, and then from 4, there is nothing else to be chosen. So G2 comma 4 would be this cost C2 4 plus G4 comma 5 because 4 is already taken, so we can't take any more vertex. So this cost is C2 4 is 10, and G4 comma 5 which is H41 which is 8. So we get 10 plus 8 which is 18. Same way you look at the, now we also need to look at, now from these two, when I'm going via 2 to 1, which is the node I use, my next vertex from G2 comma 3. So J2 indicates the next vertex we have chosen. So in this case it is 3. For G2 comma 4 it is vertex 4. Now look at G3 comma 2. G3 comma 2 means we start from vertex 3. We can go and then go via this set having vertex 2 and then come back to 1. So it basically means my edge C32 plus G of set having 2 with reductive vertex 2 with an empty set 5. Because we already taken 2, taken these as cost. So we do 2 comma 5, and this means G2 comma 5 is cost C2 1, which is 5. And so look at C32 is 13. 13 plus 5 is 18, and that is what we basically get. Same way you find G3 comma 4. Remember, 1 would never come here because 1 we started from. 2 is taken, so from 3 either we can go to 2 or we can go to 4. We have no other choices. 1 we need to come back. So can you quickly compute and tell me what is G3 comma set 4 would be? Quick computation so that you can understand. This is going to be C34 plus G4 comma 5. Can you tell me how much that is? C34. Look at C34. C34 is 12, and then 4 comma 5 is 8. So this is 12 plus 8. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Look at again. G3 comma 4 means go to 3 to 4, which is 12, and then 4 to 1, which is 8, and this is the case. Now can you compute? So look from 1, either I can go to 2. We are looked at from 1 going to 2, later going to 3, and now to look at 1 4. So we need to compute. Now G 4 comma set 2 and G 4 comma set 3. Can you compute that? Let me write it again. We need to compute G 4 comma set 2 and G 4 comma set 3. Can you work out quickly and see what do you get?
4 comma 2 is 8, sir.
4 comma 2 is 8 and then G2 comma 5.
4 to 5 is 8, sir.
So see, look, this is H42, so 42 is 8 and then 2 to 1 is 5, so 8 plus 5 13, and that is what we basically get. This is what we get. Similarly, G4 comma 3, meaning we come 4 to 3, which is 9, and 3 to 1 is 8, so become 9 plus 8 17. This is what we'll basically get. Oh, sorry, 9, this is 3 to 1 is 6. So 9 plus 6 is 15. And you look at from 3, when I do G4 comma 3, so 4, my next vertex is 2. So J4 comma 2 is 2 and J4 comma 3 would be 3. So we have computed, this has given me values for set size 0. Now I've got all the values for set size 1. Look, these all are set size 1. What I computed. Even though I have only 3 sets of set size 1, but I had to do almost 6 computations. So set size 1 doesn't mean I do only that many computations. Look, and this will look at in time complexity. Now we compute same value for set size of 2. So this we already computed. Sorry. We are done 2 comma 3 set G2 comma set 4, then G3 comma set 2, G set 3 comma 4, G set. Now we start looking at for set size 2. Now set size 2, my possibles are, if we look at 2 comma 3, 2 comma 4, I have only again 3 sets of set size of 2. And we need to compute each of these. So let's look at how do we go about doing it. So let's look at, first is 2 to set size 3 and 4, only 1. Now from 2 set size of 3 means from 2 either I can go to 3 and find G3 4, or I can go to 2 to 4 and G4 comma 3. Now we know this value already computed. We know this value set size 1 already computed. So C23 is this as cost, which is 9, and we know G3 comma 4 we computed as 20 here. So this value becomes similar to C24 is 10, and we computed 4 comma 3 is 15. So this becomes minimum of C23. If you look at C23, this is C239 and G34 is 20. So you get 9 plus 20, and C24 is 10 and 10 comma. Once we have basically, so look, I'm having only these two. Once I choose my next vertex as 4, I'm left with only 3. So I need to look at from here. Hence G4 comma 3. My G4 comma 3 is basically we're given 15. So it becomes 8 plus 15 here. Where I am, yeah. C24 is 10, which is 10, and G43 is 15. So 10, so minimum of 9 plus 20, 29, 25. This gives the minimum. Now look at from this vertex 2, I'm using set 3 and 4. That means my minimum is given by using vertex 4 and not vertex 3. So my value of J2, 3, 4 is 4 because minimum is given by using vertex 4. Hence, J2 set 3, 4 is 4. Now I have done this. Same way I compute G3, set 2, 4. This is what we'll do. So look at set G3 to 4. That means from 3, either I can go to 2 and find the path from 2 to 1, or from 3 I can go to 4 and find the path from 4 to 1, remaining vertices. So once I go from 3 to 2, I'm left with, out of 2 and 4, I'm left with only 4. So I need to find G2, 4. This is site 1 we already know. If from 3 we can go to 4, and then only vertex left is 2. So again, look at when I need to compute this, from 3 I can go to vertex 2, and remaining vertex is only 4. I need to compute G2, 4. Or from 3 I can go to vertex 4 and then find a path from remaining vertex is only 2. So I need to find this. So look at this here, C32 32 is 13, and G24 is 18. So this gives me 13 plus 18. Similarly, if I go to 4, 3 to 4 is 12, and 4 to, then I left with 2. So G4, 2 is 13. So I get 12 plus 13, 25. Now minimum is given by, this is 31, this is 25. So minimum is going to be 25. That means my J happens to be 2 because 2 is the one that gives me minimum. Sorry. Yeah, what I'm doing here is J3, this is 3, 2, 4. This gives me 31. So this should be 2 and not 4. So there's a mistake here. This should be 2. Because using 2, what I'm finding my minimum. So J3, 2, 4 is basically because going via 2, I get my minimum value, and that is what I'm basically trying to do. No, sorry, I made a mistake. Wait a minute. Look, G3 to 4, either I go over vertex 2 or I go over vertex 4. When I go via vertex 4, my value is 25. When I go via vertex 2, my value is 31. So the vertex 4 that gives me minimum, and J3 to 4 is vertex 4, which is basically the next vertex that gives the minimum. Now only the possibilities from, so we started from vertex 1 where choices 2, 3 and 4. I can go to vertex 4. After going to vertex 4, my choices is either go via 2 or go via 3. If I go via 2 or 3, again look at from 4, I can go to 2. From 4, I can go to 2, and then only vertex left is 3. So G2, 3. Or from vertex 4, I can go to 3. Only vertex left is 2. So what we need to do is see, from vertex 4 I go to 2, vertex 4 I go to 2, which cost is 8. So this is 8, and then my choice is 3. From G2, 3, G2, 3 is given as 15. So you get minimum of 8 plus 15, which is 23. From vertex 4 I can go to 3. Vertex 4 I can go to 3, which is 9, and then G3, left with basically 2, and G3, 2 is 18. So you get minimum of 8 plus 15 and minimum of 9 plus 18. Now look, minimum comes from when I use this vertex 2. Because if I use vertex 3, my value is 27. That means J4, 2, 3 would be 2. Sorry, let me put it again. I've run too fast. Look, my minimum comes from this. That means when I start from vertex 4, even given this at 2, 3, my minimum comes from vertex 3. Hence, my J2, 3, 4 is 2. So I had done computation for side set as is equal to 0. I had done for computation 1. I had done for side size 2. I'm left with set size 3 now. That means I'm already done with this. So only choice left is now compute 1, 2, 3, 4. Now look, from 1 I can go to 2. That means C12 plus once I choose a vertex 2, I am left with only these two vertices. So starting from vertex 2 using set 3 and 4. Or from 1 I can go to vertex 3. And once I choose a vertex 3, I am left with vertices 2 and 4. So I need to find G3, 2, 4. Or from vertex 1, I can go to, from vertex 1, I can go to 4. So I choose as 1, 4. And once I choose 4, I'm left with only 2 and 3. So G4, 2, 3. Now we know that C12, if you look at C12, C12 is 10. This is 10. And G2, 3, 4 is 25. So this is 10 and this 25. So you get 10 plus 25. Second, C13. C13 is 15. And then 3, remaining 2, 4. 3, 2, 4 is 25. So you get 15 plus 25. And if I can go to 4, this cost is 20. This is 20. And then once I use a 4, I'm left with only 2 and 3. So you get 2 and 3 and G4, 2, 23. Now which gives me minimum? Look at this is 35, this is 40, and this is 43. So this 35 is the minimum. So minimum is 35 what I get. And this 35 minimum is given by when I go to vertex 2. That means J J1, 2, 3, 4 is. So why this is important? That means from vertex 1, I need to go to vertex 2. And then the same way, when I go to vertex 2, I need to find G2, 3, 4 and keep proceeding this way, and then you can trace our path. So let's look at how do we trace our path. So we find our optimal distance, which is about 35, but we want to trace the path. So how do I trace the path? That is what we look at. We know that this is 2. That means from 1, we need to go to 2. So that means once I pick up a 2, I'm left with 3, 4. So I need to find next is J2, 3, 4. And we computed before J2, 3, 4 is 4. So that means from 1, we'll go to 2. From 2, we'll go to 4. And then from 4, we'll basically look at G3, we go to 3. And this will be my shortest path. So actually, if you look at the shortest path, would be 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 3, and then 3 to 1. This gives you, this how you find shortest path, and that's the complexity analysis. Now, how do you find time complexity? There are two ways to look at it. One is given in the book. Now look, each value of set K, when I chosen my elements K, now my number of vertices remaining is basically n minus k nodes. So let's have vertex 1, vertex 2, up to vertex n, and I've chosen some k vertices. So remaining vertices is n minus k. Now vertex 1, we don't start from, we already taken out. So I am left with n minus k1 vertices. So let me repeat again. If I have, let's say, vertex 1, vertex 2, vertex 3, up to vertex n, and I've chosen some k vertices. This is k vertices. I never use vertex 1 because they were starting from. So remaining vertices, this number of vertices is n minus k minus 1. For each set of size k, my choice is n minus k minus 1. And that is what basically I'm saying. So for each, now within this K, I choose one vertex at a time and I did many choices. That's essentially what you are saying here. So for each, when I choose for each value of K, for each vertex within this set, I have n minus K choices. And thus, you look at how do you compute. Now, how many sets are there of size K? Look, once I look at the elements, I'm looking at the subset of size K excluding 1 and I. Because I already taken vertex 1 and I choose an I. So I'm left with n minus 2 vertices. And I need to look at set because I'm computing GIS. So from 1, I've gone to some vertex I, and then I'm remaining trying to find some sub vertices of size K. So I already taken I is out, 1 is out. I'm left with remaining n minus 2 vertices. So from n minus 2 vertices, I need to choose set of size K. So that would be n minus 2 C K. And that is what we basically get. So number of sets of size K would be n minus 2 Ck. Now for each of this set, my number of choices are n minus k minus 1. So my time complexity is n minus k minus 1 into n minus 2 Ck, starting k 0 to n minus 2, because my set size could be 0, and only when I get n minus 1, I use G1. And this, if you look at, if I ignore k, this is greater than n minus 1, n minus 1 is independent of k, it comes out, you basically get with n minus 1 sigma k is equal to 0 to n minus 2 Ck, and this gives you sum of, remember what is 1 plus 1 raised to power n is equal to sigma I is equal to 0 to n nci 1 raised to power I 1 raised to n minus I, which is basically binomial computation. Using that, this gives me n minus 1, 2, so number of 2 raised to n minus 1, 2, and look, for each of these computation, I need to do that many, I need to find a minimum. For each of these choices, I need to find minimum, and that requires again k computation. So that means I need to multiply this by further k, and since k could be order n, so you get n minus 1 2 raised to power n minus 2, which is basically order of n square 2 raised to power n. You can look at it another way. If you look at generically n vertices, there are 2 raised to power n subsets, and for each subset we do basically two kind of work: find the minimum and addition of each vertices. So for each set, first look at each vertex, because for each set look at each with the next vertex, and then for each vertex we need to find the minimum. We have to look at each vertex and find the minimum, which is the right vertex. So this takes order n work, this takes order n work, that means n square 2 raised to power n subset. So that basically gives me order n into order n square, and since number of subsets is 2 raised to power n, my term complexity is order n square 2 raised to power n. This is general one way. The other one I given in the previous slide is what is given in the book. So we are more or less done with dynamic programming approach for traveling salesperson. We basically define what the problem is. Then we look at how to use dynamic programming. Basically make a smaller problem. Consider we come to up to vertex I, and from vertex I, what are the choices possible, find a solution, and keep building it up. And that's essentially what we did. And finally we said complexity analysis, which is n square 2 raised to power n, which is certainly less than order factorial n. And this is what we basically get better, even though this is exponential, but it's better. I'm done for any questions. Feel free to ask me. Tomorrow we'll discuss the last topic in dynamic programming, which is reliability analysis, and we'll look at how to do about that, and then we'll continue with that. If any question, please ask. Otherwise, you can drop out and we continue tomorrow reliability analysis. Thank you.